So, Stephen D here on Pure 24/7 Radio here on The Rock Show, and I am joined by a very special guest. Hello, Glasby.
Hey, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on, and we're here to talk about how you got into music and your take on music as well. So it's a real pleasure to be joined by you. Shall we start with a simple question? Who you are, sort of what you get up to?
Hey, yeah, so I am Glasby, that's my artist name, or Pete is my real name. Yeah, so I am living in Middlesbrough in Teesside. That's where I'm from, northeast England, and I'm a songwriter and produce my own music. And I'm also a tradesman by day. I'm an electrician. So still love music and really pushing it out there, but you know, working as a family man, still fixing sockets and lights and stuff as well. But yeah, I just music is what I'm really passionate about. I write songs about life, just kind of the ups and downs of life and questions in life, and yeah, I produce it all at home in my garage and release it all on Spotify and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
That's really cool. I can see obviously behind you. You won't be able to see this on the radio, but I can see you've got quite a good setup behind you. Is this your studio?
It is. This is my man cave, as it were. It's yeah, I've just added and added to it. It's actually my garage. But yeah, over the last sort of 10 years, I've added bits and soundproofed it to some degree, and yeah, it's quite cool. It's quite cool. Got a drum kit behind me as well.
Oh yeah, full setup, which is absolutely ace. So you really are genuinely passionate about music.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did that start for you? When did that begin?
Yeah, I was about 13. My granddad was probably my only other musical person in the family at the time, and he used to sing for a rock and roll band. Not a big famous band, but they were based in Retford, and he one of his friends lent me a drum kit, so gave me a drum kit actually, and I started off playing drums at 13, got lessons, and then one drum lesson, my drum teacher whipped out electric guitar and started playing that while I was playing, and I was like, stopped drumming. I was like, I want to know how to do that. Show me what you're doing there. And from that point on was just like, I want to play electric guitar, and really got into guitar, got into songwriting. Yeah, so about 14, 15 by then. And just ever since then, so for the last 20 years, I've been just loved just writing songs about life and playing guitar solos and guitar riffs and recording my own music. Yeah.
That's ace. So started from quite an early age. You got into music. Have you do a lot of practicing? Is that something you do a lot of?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's never felt like practice really. I've not been someone who sits and goes through scales and stuff. Been through phases like that, but just always loved coming up with stuff, listening and playing along with other things. I think when you're a young teenager, you have all the time. You get into it and you get past that beginner hump of like, you know, learning guitar or whatever. And I think once you've got over that little hump of like being able to wrap your fingers around chords, it's just like, as long as you enjoy it, you just naturally excel in it, I think. And that's just what it's been like for me. I've always loved playing and singing, and I've just, the more I've done it slowly, you know, I've improved over the years, and yeah, so still love doing it.
Excellent. I love that. So you obviously started from an early age and got into music, which is really cool. And we're going to play one of your songs in a moment. So I'm curious what some of the writing process might look like for you. How does that? How do you even begin to write a song? What's the process for you? Where's the inspiration come from as well?
Yeah, so for me, inspiration just comes from life or different things I might be thinking about. You know, often there's different things that are playing heavy on our minds, isn't there, at different parts of our life, and um, that kind of tends to be where I get ideas for songs. I might be messing around with guitar or whatever, come up with some little thing, and might just get melody ideas, and you sort of naturally get you know, you might land on a little lyric that you're like, oh, I like that, I'll go with that. And in terms of like writing full songs, I actually don't tend to write lyrics while I'm playing. They're just kind of as I'm going through songs in my head while I'm working, or laid in bed at night, that's when I tend to get my lyrics and stuff and the ideas for lyrics, and when I'm not distracted by playing guitar really. But yeah, just ideas, inspiration comes from life, comes from questions, or sometimes someone might be talking about something and I'm like, oh, there's something in there I think would make a good song. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm curious how in your life as a Sparky and doing the electrical stuff, how that might influence your music, if there's some connection there.
Yeah, I think it does. Well, I mean, I'm self-employed. I work in both domestic and commercial electrics. So I meet a lot of people. So I get to see a lot of life, different aspects of life and stuff. So I think meeting people, really does open your mind, open you up to different questions, different conversations. I have conversations with people all the time. It's great. But yeah, that does, I guess, I haven't really realized that, but yeah, I think that does actually give you a lot of inspiration as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I presume on a more practical level, your skills with electrics probably helps with your equipment. Have you probably repaired one or two things?
Oh yes. Yeah, it does help actually. I've tinkered with I mean any guitarists, electric guitarists, if there's any listening will know, there's a whole world of guitar pedals and building a guitar pedal board, and I've tinkered with modifying guitar pedal boards and building pedal boards and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that does play into it a bit. And it's handy having the skills to be able to set up my own guitars as well, rather than paying someone to do it. So that
yeah,
plays well.
that's really cool. Yeah, I love that. You're a Sparky who plays electric guitar. It just sort of it's something really cool about that. Yeah. So we are going to be playing a song in a moment, but I understand you've got a new one coming out on the 8th of May. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
I have, yeah. So this one's called Gates of Heaven, and I've been telling you I'm mainly guitar based, but I have a electric piano in our living room. Not very good at the piano actually, but I wrote this on the piano in there, so it's based around a piano riff. It's the only thing I can play well on a piano. But yeah, basically, this song is about. I was thinking about like, it's about like what happens. It's the question, what's going to happen when I die. It's not always a very popular thing to talk about. And I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian, and so I'm quite confident about where I'm going. But this song was like kind of asking the question, like how I'm actually are going to be received when I get there, or thinking about like, is just simply being a good person, is that enough? And asking that question, what am I living my life for? Who am I actually being as a person, deeper than just what I'm seeking, what dreams I've set, chasing after and stuff. So yeah, it's quite a big question. And also it's yeah, I really like how I've produced the song. It's been a bit different doing this one to normal, with it being very piano based. Got a lot of big guitars in there as well. And I started off with like a sort of synth organ type thing at the start, which is a new sort of thing for me. But yeah, so that's out on 8th of May. So, I mean, look out for that.
Definitely, that sounds really cool. I look forward to listening to that and playing it on probably on the station as well. You mentioned, I mean, asking those questions in life is so very important, and I do love when music does that. It kind of makes us think, makes us wonder, makes us ask questions, because it is so very healthy, so very good for us. And the big questions in life, what's going to happen when we die? That's a really big question, and people. I think actually there's a danger to not asking the question, don't you think? That
Yeah.
people can avoid it because it's a hard one to ask, but actually we do need to explore it, do need to think about it, and doing that through music. I mean, what better way is there?
Yeah. You're right. I think, yeah, I know many people who yeah, I meet people who it is a scary question for them. And even for me, I still think it's quite a scary thought, that we are all going to die one day. And but yeah, I would yeah, I think with this song, and as with all my songs, I feel like they all come out of where I've felt challenged and then encouraged on something, and that's what I want to do with the songs. So I would encourage you to ask the question, and look for the answer as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. So that's the new song coming out 8th of May. Really looking forward to that. But more recently, we're going to play a song for you in a moment, and this is Behind Every Window. So let's talk a little bit about that. What inspired this particular song?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the first time I got the idea for this song was I was at a concert the start of last year, or it might have been the year before, and it was a guy who come over from America, a guy called Theo Katzman, who's a fantastic musician who I've been following for a while. And I was in the audience, and I realized, some people around me who were like really in the audience wanting to get his attention. And I was kind of like, I realized as I was stood there, like, I'm stood here wanting him to notice me. And he's the artist on stage when actually he's up there looking out at 1,000, 2,000 people, and was like, made me realize actually, like, we all can be in our own little bubble, our own world, feeling like the center of the universe, and actually realize that I'm just, all these other strangers around me, they all feel like me. They all have got their own life going on. They've got their own whole world around them. And it's like they're the main character. We're each the main character in our own movie. And so it's based on that kind of realization, and then the encouragement of like, maybe you can play an extra in someone else's life, in someone else's movie, and just look at other people and see them and let them, have their moment as well. And yeah, so I hope that came across clear enough.
No, that's absolutely brilliant. I love that. I was chatting to someone earlier today actually about a very similar concept, that idea of being in our own sort of bubble, as you say, and actually there's a lot more people out there around us, and actually each and every person is in their own sort of bubble. And I love that kind of drawing that out in music. And I love that it was inspired by a concert, which is really cool.
Yeah, from that moment, and the other moment that inspired it was being tailgated on the motorway by a tinted window BMW, I think it was, and calling them every name under the sun through the mirror, and then realizing that I was doing the same thing to the car in front. And that was like, that was that's the lyric. That's a lyric actually in the song as well. And yeah, just like realizing that we can just be like, get out of my way. And actually, yeah, that's someone else who's just like me, trying to get somewhere, trying to get on with their life.
There's a BMW driver in all of us, isn't there?
Yeah, if I could afford one, I would be one as well.
I know, it's funny. I love that. It's very real. I love that what you bring in your music, that it's so very real, looking at real situations, real life stuff, and bringing it into music, asking questions. And I'm really looking forward to playing this next song. So let's jump into it, shall we? This is Glasby with Behind Every Window.
The very first edition of our brand new monthly magazine, By Men for Men, hits the streets from the 1st of May. Pure Men's Mag is go. We've pulled together the very best writers we could find, scouring the earth, looking high and low, which means we've done the hard work for you. All you have to do is grab yourself a subscription. We've got digital subscriptions available everywhere via our website, or a 6-month subscription of these high quality, non-digital, tactile interfacing devices. They don't crash, they don't need updates, the battery is always at 100%. And even better, a brand new one appears every single month. Just head yourself over to www.puremensmag.com and grab yourself a copy. These are by men, for men, and always AI free. Pure Men's Mag is a go.